everyone, welcome back to Instant Gaming for Tuesday.
That's right, it is Tuesday. Nintendo just finished off E3 with a Direct today. While they didn't give us any massive surprises, there was one relatively large surprise.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fine.
Brian,
Yeah.
They broke out the big guns, though.
Yeah, look, we got an announcement of a sequel to Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's awesome.
A look at the next Animal Crossing game, and of course, more info on Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Plus, new fighters for Super Smash Ultimate!
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie and the Dragon Quest hero. Who's the Dragon Quest hero?
It's all of them, sort of.
Just like we all wanted.
You guys got to give up on Banjo-Kazooie, though. That game wasn't the best.
Don't tell people that.
People love it, Lawrence.
Bruce is a speedrunning champion.
People love it, like me. I love it. I play it all every day.
Took him 30 minutes to learn how to shoot an egg, but he did it.
Love it. It runs at 5 FPS. Oh my god.
Nintendo has been feeling the heat over the last year for some slightly disappointing Switch sales, and it looks like they're trying hard to get those numbers right back up.
Lawrence, did it work?
I mean, it will.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
Nintendo's
right.
gonna be fine, but as far as us, we're the ones who are important here, the gamers. The problem is, like, Nintendo capped off what a lot of people are saying is a pretty disappointing E3, and I kind of feel that way too. A lot of
Yeah.
announcements, but nothing really earth-shattering, and what we did see was not ready to be shown.
At the end of a console generation,
Right.
this is sort of what happens.
Yeah.
Sony didn't show up.
So they're saving it all for the next generation.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you guys were disappointed in this year's E3, there's a reason for that. We'll see much more in years to come, but first, let's recap Nintendo real quick. Biggest news, obviously, a sequel to Breath of the Wild in development. That's cool.
Woo!
Hey!
Yeah,
And it looks,
hey,
it looks
excited
metal
about
as
that.
hell, man.
Yeah.
That's happened like what? Once, twice, maybe 3 times in the Zelda franchise, and it's always years later.
There's Majora's Mask, Zelda 2, Link Between Worlds, The Wand of Gamelon.
You've killed me!
Good.
I guess they put a bunch of money into that engine, and they're trying to crank out some sequels, which I am okay with.
Yeah, they made the whole world map too, so you can just reuse it, tweak some things, move that mountain over there, make this part dark, move those trees. We got us
Absolutely.
a sequel, baby.
Keep it up, Nintendo. Great work.
So yeah, no release date yet on that, obviously. But we saw some early footage of Zelda and Link making their way through a spooky area. Maybe this is the Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time. Spookier, darker. I'm into that.
Me too.
Breath of the Wild was pretty dark at times too.
It was,
so.
yeah.
Get it, Nintendo.
Yeah, and honestly, it's probably been in development for a while. Breath of the Wild was a launch title, if you remember, for the Switch, and it sold like crazy. It's one of the best reviewed games of all time, so the sequel, I guess, is a no-brainer for this game.
It is safe to say it's one of the greatest games of all time.
Absolutely.
Greatest games
Yeah,
of all time.
unquestionably, like top 10 at least, if not the best game ever made.
That's not all. We also saw footage of the much anticipated new Animal Crossing game. Sorry, Autumn, it got delayed. Sorry, Autumn. That's become a pillar franchise for Nintendo, and everyone has been excited for a Switch version.
According to the Direct, it'll be called New Horizons, and it's been delayed just a little. How much?
I mean, they said 2019, and now it's in 2020.
Ugh.
Yeah, they cruised it in right before the end of fiscal.
Yeah.
That's fun.
March 20th.
Yes. If you're noticing a lot of like late March release dates, that's because people close their fiscal in March.
For
So-
2020. Oh no, 3/2020.
We also got some footage of Luigi's Mansion 3, which is due out later this year, so take that, Animal Crossing, you dumb
Nintendo also showed off some classic ghost-busting gameplay, and this one will also have 2-player co-op action as well as an online mode. Is that what you're talking about with Luigi?
No, well, maybe. I only caught part of that, but Luigi's so lonely that he has to out his only friend, a little goo version of himself.
Is Mario not his buddy?
Mario's a princess somewhere.
Mario's
Luigi's
dead.
got to go to a haunted mansion and get scared by everything.
Mario's a cuck. Do you all remember that remake of Zelda Link's Awakening?
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. That's actually coming September 20th, so that's soon-ish.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Nintendo also let us know more about the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield. Lawrence, tell them about it.
Yeah, they had some live gameplay. That's cool.
Neat.
Yeah,
When's it come out?
I didn't see that part. I was busy writing the script. Oh wait. Oh, it's out in November.
But how much money is it gonna make them?
I'm $1 million.
Millions and millions of dollars.
Okay.
It's been a while since there's been a mainline Pokemon game, and it's on the Switch. It's like everything's aligning for this to be a really good year and really good holiday for Nintendo. Got some other games releasing this year. Daemon X Machina will come out 2019, September 13th to be exact. RPG called Astral Chain by Platinum Games is due out August 30th because
Oh.
Platinum will not go home and stop working. A remake of Panzer Dragoon.
What?
A tactics game based on Dark Crystal. You gotta give it to them. They have diversity in their lineup at least. That's kind of
Cool.
interesting.
Yeah, weird.
And good old John Romero's back, making what looks like a Depression-era gangster game called Empire of Sin that's out next spring. And No More Heroes 3! We did it.
These are all games that Lawrence will play and enjoy.
Yeah. This was a press conference solely for Lawrence, so
Basically,
that's
yeah.
pretty good, yeah. But what about ports, you may be asking? Don't worry. Oh, we got so many.
Nobody asked that question. The Switch is also getting ports of Dragon Quest XI, Witcher 3, Resident Evil 5 and 6, and a new Contra game called Contra Rogue Core. Yeah, released September 24th.
Konami's back.
They leave?
Yeah.
They did.
They went out of
That's
business,
right.
yeah.
They super left.
They crawled in the corner of Vegas and started just pulling the pachinko machine
Yeah,
for it.
it'll be a little frogman. Contra.
Remember the Konami code? It's on the Stadia
No,
controller.
no, please don't put it anywhere.
Got it tattooed on my neck.
Yeah.
Put it
World
anywhere
of
on
Cool
any
Gamer
gaming
item.
peripheral. I don't want it anywhere.
God, I'm so cool.
So the big question for Nintendo is, will this be enough? Because Nintendo's on the brink of bankruptcy. They're going to go out of business.
No.
Right, Lawrence?
They're fine. I mean, they just need to have a good year because the Switch missed its projections last year. That's it, really. And they just barely whiffed their revenue projections, so that tossed up some investors. But yeah, at the end of March, Nintendo sold 35 million Switches. They're doing good.
Jeez.
Considering that's a little over 2 years old, it's really, really impressive. It's actually on track at where the PlayStation 4 was, and the PlayStation 4 is on pace to become the best-selling console of all time.
Wow.
Damn.
Hasn't been good enough for Wall Street, though, because nothing ever is. They've been slamming Nintendo's stock. Why is that, Bruce? You're a financial expert here.
I even bought Nintendo stock recently because I was like, all right, Nintendo's at the bottom. Here we go, all the way up. I mean, I only bought a little bit, just as so everybody's aware.
Un poquito.
I love video games and I really want Nintendo to do well, but as we all know about Wall Street, it's all about expectations versus reality. Last year, the Switch was selling like gangbusters. Nintendo executives were throwing money at each other, having huge parties doing coke-off hookers. And they made a very aggressive prediction that the Switch would sell 20 million units in the fiscal year that just wrapped up at the end of March.
Yeah, it turns out that prediction was a little too aggressive because Nintendo did not hit that number.
Oh, that was eventually revised down to 17 million rather than 20 million, which is about how many Switches eventually sold in the last fiscal year.
If I could ever sell 17 million of anything, I would just be so happy.
It's 17 million views.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't sell those.
didn't sell those.
They sell per 1,000, so divide that, figure that. I don't know. I got a bunch of fidget spinners I got to offload. They got
Trucks of them.
They have Fortnite characters on them, but it's a typo, so it says Fortnite.
Oh boy.
Boy, that's,
Yeah.
that's real bad.
I'm at the Santa Clarita Swap Meet. See you this weekend.
Meanwhile, Nintendo says it expects to ship 18 million Switches in the current fiscal year, which is this year right now, but that is also less than analysts expected. They were forecasting 18.5 million Switches sold this year, Lawrence.
Damn it. Investors, dude. They don't care about any of this. This is all just prospecting for them. So yeah, just missing a number by a little bit is the end of the world. But yeah, Nintendo didn't hit their own hardware projections last fiscal year, and their outlook is pretty conservative for this year, which also is pissing off analysts. Apparently, analysts want you to say a number and hit exactly that. And if you say a number that's too low, then they get mad. If you say a number that's too high, they get whatever.
right.
I guess they just want ultimate dependability because they just want to make money.
Reliability.
Shocker. As for software, yeah, sales were below expectations too again. Just a little bit. So Nintendo sold 119 million units of software last fiscal, which was below analyst projections of 121 million.
Oh.
How dare they? Can you imagine?
Ironically, Wall Street is the disappointed Asian father
Oh, yeah,
in this
you're right, for
situation.
Nintendo.
When it should be Nintendo.
I'm running some numbers right here.
Okay, he's using his calculator.
Yeah, it's like 1%.
Yeah,
Came in
no.
under 99%.
Not good
Nintendo
enough.
stock just tanked
Yeah.
after that, too.
A, not an A plus.
So obviously the market's been punishing Nintendo for not hitting those benchmarks. After hitting a peak in March of 2018 that was the company's second highest of all time, Nintendo's stock price declined for the next 12 months.
Come on, help Nintendo. Investors weren't happy with the amount of Switches that were being sold once the initial buzz wore off.
Yeah, but Nintendo stock has rebounded in recent months.
Yeah, there's something that didn't rebound though, and that's E3, its freaking self.
Yeah.
What happened to E3?
It's just a weird year. It's
Yeah.
just a little wet fart. You have to excuse yourself and go wipe because you think something happened.
Ew.
Maybe it
Yeah, it's a little
I'm
shardy.
saying it's not great. Yeah. So the highlight of the whole conference was a Hollywood actor being in a AAA big budget game. Don't get me wrong. It
was great.
Right? We love Keanu as much as anyone else.
Yeah.
We come a long way from Jamie Kennedy yelling at people in the audience
That
while
was
being
great,
high
though.
on something. We went from that to actually being happy and this lovely man coming
That's
out
the
and
last
being in a
time he
cool
got
video game.
paid. So remember he was like top of the tier. Book
No.
this man
I don't know
for.
about
never-
top of the tier.
no.
He hosted G4ia, Bruce.
Yes, I remember I was there.
It's not top tier.
Sony's complete absence from this year left an incredible opportunity for Microsoft to stick the landing with their Project Scarlet reveal. Instead, we got a weird fluff montage with a lot of developers talking about how it'll blow your mind and not much else, which is really strange to me.
Yeah.
They didn't show anything about
I mean,
it.
they talked about it, and we were lucky enough to actually go to the show floor yesterday. I got to try out xCloud. It works.
It was great.
It's actually kind of cool that it's working, but
Nothing about
Yeah.
Scarlet. There was no new Xbox.
yeah, it's an off year in general for E3. That's just how these tides go in game development, basically.
Obviously, we're on the cusp of another generational turnover in hardware. Sony's whispering about PlayStation 5, and Microsoft is being coy about Project Scarlet. Similarly, the game developers probably have a ton of projects in the incubator to launch with those platforms, but they're not nearly ready to show yet, right, Lawrence?
Yeah. You can kind of see this in every big conference, really. Ubisoft rifled through all their games as service games in addition to Watch Dogs 3 demo, which was, was pretty good.
Yeah,
really good.
And a premiere for an admittedly cool-looking adventure game called Gods and Monsters that, yet again, really didn't have a solid gameplay demo of any kind, just a concept. Bethesda showed off 2 new games, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. concepts.
They were cool.
No gameplay. Looks cool, but
Yeah.
who knows what they are or when we're gonna get them. Square Enix did finally give us a complete look at Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was nice, but the 1-2 punch didn't quite land there with a really confusing Avengers premiere.
It was so strange.
Yeah, it showed no actual gameplay. Instead, it focused on Last of Us style drama between kind of photoreal superheroes that are 100% not the cinematic versions that we're all very used to at this point.
Didn't Tony Stark have like really long hair and
Yeah,
a
he was like
bushy
homeless
beard
Stark.
and stuff?
I get it. They probably can't pay the money for the likenesses of those actors, but at the same time, we just got done watching them for 10 years. So why would they go with a cinematic, like photoreal look? They should have stylized it a little more, or not done the cinematic lineup of the Avengers.
I would have been happy with actual gameplay.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
That's
too.
kind of all I wanted.
I didn't need to see their weird faces
Yeah.
on weird bodies.
So who knows? Maybe E3 2020 will slam us all hard in with all those announcements.
I'm sure that, I think they probably will. But we'll all be close personal friends with Cyberpunk Reeves by then, so really, who cares?
Yeah, and if Lawrence isn't dead from malnutrition and lack of sunlight by the time E3 2020 happens, then he isn't truly the cyberpunk king that we once crowned him as.
I would agree.
there's a date stamped on my neck, and it's when that game
Are
comes
you gonna
out.
get it tattooed like Halo? 4/16,
should, yeah.
2020?
No, just get tattoos so you look like Cyberman.
I actually thought about that, but I was warned to do not get any face or neck tattoos, ever.
We should have asked him to get a tattoo when he was drunk during the drunk stream.
Oh, great.
Tattoo artists won't tattoo you when you're drunk unless you're like,
That's not true. She got a drunk tattoo.
I'm not supposed to.
It's different if you're in prison.
Yeah, I guess. Some said he was, quote, manipulative, moody, and sometimes nasty.
Just like Brian.
We gotta make him the CEO of Inside Gaming.
Lots of ESA members are also not happy about the current state of E3, of course, and some wondered whether it should be spun off into a separate entity.
I guess that makes sense, yeah. The article
why not?
mentioned that ReedPop, which runs